And Henley serves it into the air. Olivia Jackson hits it up. Grace Landis delivers the punch to send it over to the Henley lines. Henley tries to send it back. And Grace Landis again sends it over the Henley side, and that is the point for the Mustangs, who now lead 3-2. And Elizabeth DeVos sends it over to the Henley side. They pop it up in the air quite a bit.
That one just shoved over, but tossed in the right spot at the right time.
Smashed it over onto the Henley side, and the Mustangs will take another point, increasing their lead 4-2 over the Hornets.
So again, if you're to the score early, no sets done yet as this game just started. Of course, this is the Bymark Game of the Week presented by Evergreen Federal Bank, and the point going to the Hornets on that one. Hornets, we touched on it a little bit in the pregame, might be underdogs here, but still a strong rivalry for sure. The Hornets only winning 2 of the past 10 engagements between these two teams. 4-3 the score in game 1.
And the Hornets send it over. The Mustangs pop it up, try to send it back, get it over to Henley's side, and Henley can't quite save that, and that'll be another point to the Mustangs, now leading 5-3.
Pretty back and forth so far, but the Mustangs can run off a string at any time as they're very momentum based. Rachel Polster serving for the Stangs.
As Henley pops in the air, tries to send it over. And that's another point for the Hornets.
Back and forth early, and that's what we like to see, 5-4 between these two teams. Nice save by Jackson as that one landed a bit in front of her. Landis shoots that one over.
Point to Henley. You know, whenever things like this happen, I always get excited to try to make a prediction, but from the last game, I kind of learned
we might need to lay off on the predictions. We might not be the most smart guys to make predictions up here.
I would agree so, Josh.
Jesse tried to place that one in the back, but couldn't do it, and the Hornets take the lead for the first time tonight.
I don't know if you guys can hear our student section about 10 seconds before the play started.
Oh, another error, but it's the same player in Cheryl. Again, just couldn't quite shove it over as the Mustangs tie it up here. 6-6 in game 1.
It's keeping this one a lot more tight than last week's game that we did, Josh.
Well, especially in game 1. I mean, we saw Clement Union kind of bounce back in the second game, but Henley keeping it close from the start.
And that one was barely out as Henley takes another point.
That one could have gone either way, too. A very close call, but I think they made the right one. That point will go against the Mustangs.
Now remember, Josh, let's not start predicting things.
Well, I mean, there's nothing to predict yet, is there? I mean, it's 7-6 in the Hornets' favor as it's a really close game to start.
As the Mustangs nicely send it over, and Henley smacks it right to Jackson. And Polster took a dive for that one, but wasn't quite there to save it, as the Hornets now lead 8-6 over the Mustangs.
That was unfortunate. That was a good play by Parker there. She just hit that one right to Jackson. Jackson couldn't do anything. It was just a line drive and bounced poorly off of her forearm.
As Landis sends that one into the air, and Hallie Jesse sends it back over, and Henley dives, not quite able to deliver on that one.
Good attempt by Mick there, but trying to pass it to her teammate. No one was there. 8-7, now the Hornets are in the lead in the early going to game 1. Again, the JV game went just about like this, as that one went all 5 sets. Hidden Valley won that one 3-2 though. 15-13 was the final in the 5th set.
It's been a very close game, and I'm excited to see what will happen with the varsity players of Hidden Valley versus Henley. And it looks like they're tied again. Probably not for the last time.
That's the 3rd tie already. Serving is Jackson as that one gets over with ease.
Henley sets it up nicely and bouncing off of Jackson again. That's the second time in the first 10 points. I think they're using that strategy.
Yeah, well, Jackson's back there. I mean, she knows that's the second time. She looked over at the camera and she knows we kind of maybe a little bit embarrassed, but take it all in stride. You're not down by too much. That's only one, so Mustangs easily bounce back in this one.
Indeed.
That one Jackson got easily as Hurley. A nice save up front. Now it's Parker again.
And another point goes to the Hornets.
Hornets first one to reach 10 in game one. It's a good first step in the right direction if you want to beat the rival Mustangs.
On their home turf as well. Oh, was that Landis sending it over?
I believe that was. Then it'll be 10-9.
I've not seen the difference between them be more than 3 in this game so far.
Yeah, it's been very, very close this far. Biggest lead was for the Mustangs, and it was 3, you're right.
I believe so. Henley tries to send it in the air, balance it. Looks like they finally got it over. Jackson sends it up. And it looks like Janelle Hurley rocketed that down and now ties the Mustangs with the Hornets 10-10.
10-10, fourth tie in the game, and we're only 20 serves into it, and that's a really close game thus far, and we knew it coming into this one. Hopefully this stays interesting as we move in the latter parts of this game, as that point goes to the Mustangs. I'm already into it, Mosh. I'm liking this game so far.
It's very action-packed. I don't know what else to say. The plays speak for themselves.
It's been very fundamental so far. I'm ready for someone to make some diving save like we saw last week. Jackson making a couple of those good plays. Going into the bench of the Hornets and going for the Mustangs, 12-10.
I'd say that was a good knee on Henley's part, except for there was nobody there to hit it back over to the Mustangs side. As Hallie Jesse is going to serve for the Mustangs. Sends it in the air.
And another one. That's the same thing that happened to Jackson, except this time it happens to Lily Poe on the Hornets side as the timeout's called. The score is 13-10, and you're watching HVTV1.com. It's the Bimart Game of the Week presented by Evergreen Federal Bank.
TV1 is presented in part by Bimart. Bimart delivers value every day with weekly ads, owner's choice pricing, cyber deals, and Lucky Number Tuesday. Get ready for your season for less with Bimart. For recycling, yard debris, and solid waste disposal, Southern Oregon Sanitation is your full-service transfer station. Open 7 days a week, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m., located at 1381 Redwood Avenue in Grants Pass, thanks to Southern Oregon Sanitation.
Today's game is sponsored by Burger Kings of Southern Oregon. Since 1954, our flame-grilled, freshly prepared tradition goes into every order from Burger Kings of Southern Oregon.
Thank all of our sponsors here at HVTV1 as we get back into this one. 13-10 as the serve goes over. Mustangs a good save as Jackson. She launches that one behind her back. A good play there. Oh my goodness, and that was a great play by Jesse.
What an amazing save. Keeps it in the ring for the Mustangs.
Wow, and they end up getting the point. A fantastic play by the captain, Hallie Jesse, laying it all out, and she gets that one over. 14-10 as the Mustangs start this game off on the right foot, as this is their biggest lead so far. Only a lead of 4.
Taking a well-deserved point for the Mustangs. Good job, Hallie Jesse, on that one. Janelle Hurley sends it over to Henley's side. Henley's does one right back, although that looks like that'll be a point to the Mustangs as it was out of bounds.
Bit of a delayed call there, but again, making the right one, I think. Mustangs now lead by 5. 15-10 here in game one. Mustangs starting to pull out ahead, and this is what we see from this team, but that time Jesse couldn't get it over the net, so it'll be the Hornets serve, 15-11, but I still think Mustangs might have a little bit of that momentum on that side, and hopefully that botched serve by Jesse doesn't kill the momentum.
Indeed, it'll be very interesting to see what happens in the next upcoming serves.
Hurley, maybe by accident, launched that one over, but Still a point to the Hornets, as it looked like they had a play getting ready to set up, but Hurley just did that one all herself and maybe threw the rest of her teammates off guard. Regardless, though, it's 15-12 in favor of the Mustangs as the Hornets start to inch back.
And another one on the Mustangs, looking a little bit confused there like the last one as the Hornets take another point.
Last couple, but to be fair, though, not sure if you saw it on the broadcast, but that ball going up near the rafters and bouncing off of the speakers up there, so those always come into play here at Mustang Court in volleyball. Landis launches that one over out of bounds. 15-14 now as the Hornets, they start to inch back into this one and make it a close ball game.
Mustangs are going to need some of that momentum, although I could say the same is for Henley as well. Once again, for once, I'm proven right.
So it's the same kind of deal that killed the Mustangs' momentum as the serve going right into the net. We'll see if the Mustangs are going to be able to take advantage of that and get this game going back in their direction. Is 16-14 the score with Toth serving that one over.
Still a comfortable lead for the Mustangs.
Oh my goodness.
Wow. Barely hits it over, however, to no avail. That'll be another point for the Hornets. And
a good play, though. She laid it all out in the line and just hit it to the wrong part of the court. Unfortunate. A good play, though, overall.
And as the Hornets now have served it, it's going to be interesting to see which way the pendulum swings with this one. Looks like for the moment the Hornets are tying it up again. What? This is the fifth tie.
16-16 now in game one.
With the Hornets serving.
Serving for the Hornets is Grace Parker.
I'd have to say, so far with this game, they've been keeping it real.
Oh, my goodness.
And it looks like Elizabeth DeVos tried to send it over, however, was blocked by the Hornets as they take another point, 17-16.
Hornets playing very well fundamentally right now, just making all the right plays, all the right times, dumping it right where the Mustangs are not. That one's popped up in the rafters, and there's nothing you could do about that one. Unfortunate.
Sent over by Landis as she keeps Hidden Valley tied to the Hornets, 17-17.
17-17, and that's where maybe that home court advantage, I guess I should say, comes into play. As the Hornets, they're not used to having to play around those rafters that are very low here at Mustang Court. That point going to the Mustangs.
Just wasn't quite there at the right time.
Still, though, something that think about, though, those rafters, they came into play a couple times versus Klamath Union, and we'll see if they come into play here as that one's up by the rafters, but comes down cleanly. A nice save in the back there by Poe.
And Valley sets up and tries to send it over, but it is blocked as the Hornets keep it tight, 18-18. I mean, if it's literally as tight as you can go, tied.
18, yeah. Got it up at 18-18, and it's been a close one so far. As a lot of those points have come from Hidden Valley trying to just spike it over, setting up off of Jesse. Whether it's Hurley or whether it's DeVos, the Hornets have just been up there to block it, and then it just falls right back, and ends up being a point for the Hornets. And we'll see if they decide to change their game plan anytime soon, as the Mustangs looking to pull ahead here. Landis, Rockets one.
Sends it straight over. It looks like that'll be another point for the Hornets.
19-18. Back to serve for the Hornets. I believe that's going to be Paige Nimick. A nice save in the middle by Mick for Henley. That one's popped up. Jesse grabbing that one. Jackson shoves it over, but still, again, another good save by Northcutt from Henley. Saved by Jesse there in the backcourt. Oh my goodness, and again, Toth laying out for that one, but still couldn't get it going the right direction as the Hornets now lead by 2, 20-18, as they were the first one to 10, and now they're the first one to 20, and they're 5 points away from taking the first game. The Mustangs, they call a timeout. Hoping to talk over their game strategies. The score is 20-18 here on the Weimar Game of the Week, presented by Evergreen Federal Bank on HVTV1.com.
Oregon California Supply is your one-stop shop for construction, logging, rigging, hose and hydraulic lines and fittings, and fire and safety equipment. Oregon California Supply in Grants Pass next to Wild River Pizza. Make a pit stop today at My Circle K, powered by Colvin Oil, and enjoy a Polar Pop any day, any size, just 89 cents. And get a kickback rewards card and earn points with every purchase. Points you can redeem just like cash. Find them, follow them, kick back with them. MyCircleK.com.
Welcome back to HVTV1, the Bimart Game of the Week, presented, of course, by Evergreen Federal Bank. And we got a bit of chance going on between the student sections in this tight one. It's 20-18. The Hornets are leading here. So that one is sent over. Toth in the right spot. And a great point there. That one going to the credit of Brooklyn Horban. From the Mustangs, what do you think they talked about it in that timeout?
Do you really think I know, John?
Well, I mean, I think, frankly, I mean, it seemed like what was going wrong for the Mustangs was the fact that whenever they were trying to set up front and spike, it just seemed like there was a Hornet everywhere they looked, and maybe going to plan B here for the Mustangs and seeing what they can pull out of their pocket and try to inch out this victory in game one at least. Point goes to the Mustangs. All knotted up at 20-20, the 7th tie of this game. Maybe it's the 8th tie. 20-20 regardless. Mustangs begin to inch back.
At least 6th-time tie, if not 8th. Somewhere in there. As Grace Landis sends it over, that's a point for Hidden Valley.
This game's starting to heat up, 21-20 as we get close to the finish here in game one. It's going to be a photo finish just like it was on Friday night versus North Valley. And a lot of close games here on HVTV1 we've been able to do over the past couple of weeks. And that one is another point for the Mustangs.
Indeed, you can feel the tension in the air. Everything's getting so exciting as Hidden Valley inches closer and closer to claiming game one.
There's a timeout here on the court. The score 22-20 in favor of the Mustangs. You're watching HVTV1.com. It's the Bimart Game of the Week, presented, of course, by Evergreen Federal Bank.
HVTV1 Student News is sponsored in part by Fields Ace Home Center, your hometown hardware store where you drive a little and save a lot. Fields Ace Home Center is open 7 days a week in Murphy. This event also sponsored in part by Burger Kings of Southern Oregon. Since 1954, our flame-grilled, freshly prepared tradition goes into every order from Burger Kings of Southern Oregon.
Welcome back to HVTV1, the Bimart Game of the Week, presented by Evergreen Federal Bank. Student section's really starting to heat up, and this is fun so far. They're going back and forth a lot of these chances. That ball goes over. Of course, score 22-20. In favor of the Mustangs here late in game one, I should say. Landis with the spike, and that puts the Mustangs only 2 away from taking game one.
I don't know if you can hear it, but that is our student section. And just a moment ago, they were going absolutely wild.
A lot of chance going back and forth between the, I believe that's the Hornets JV team, matching the decibel level of our student section. A nice save by Toth.
As Landis sends it over, and that's another point for the Mustangs. It is match point of game one. And let's see if the Mustangs can ride this momentum.
As is tradition here at Mustang Court, at game point, everyone gets on their feet here as the serve goes over for the Mustangs, and it goes out.
Except for Josh, of course. He doesn't stand at the match point.
Okay. Well, let's get up here. Maybe that's the reason we didn't get that one, is because we were sitting down. So
it's all about you, Josh.
We're on our feet, 24-21. The serve goes over. Set up by Colster, and that one, I guess it was me, as the Mustangs, they take game one, 25-21.
And our student section is absolutely flipping out over there. Oh, man, that was a hard-fought game. But Hidden Valley has snatched the victory, 25-21.
Very, very close game to open up this match, as again, the Mustangs got 2 more to go to clinch this victory. And you can watch those 2 more games as we continue our coverage of this volleyball game between the Mustangs and the Hornets on HVTV1.com. It's the Bimart Game of the Week, presented, of course, by Evergreen Federal Bank.
It's the season of sneezes and sniffles, and your Bi-Mart Pharmacy is here to help you keep them away. We have everything you need to stay healthy, including flu shots currently available for the whole family. Call or stop by your Bi-Mart Pharmacy for available times and get vaccinated today. And be sure to get ready with cough drops, cold medicine, and natural remedies while you're here. Bi-Mart, get ready for your season for less. It's the season.
Welcome back to the Bi-Mart Game of the Week, presented by Evergreen Federal Bank on HVTV1.com. As Game 1 went to the Mustangs, 25-21. We get close to Game 2. That was a close one, Moshe. I mean, there was a lot of competitive, what was it, 8 ties?
Yeah, that was insane. That totally took me off. I mean, not that off guard, you know. I mean, these are very competitive teams, of course, but that really surprised me. And I think that really shows that we were actually right this time, but also that, that Hidden Valley and Henley are very competitive teams, and it is going to be interesting to see who wins it all.
It's going to be a close finish, I think. I think we're in for a good one. Whether or not it goes 3-0 in Hidden Valley's favor, or whether it goes 3-1 now in Henley's favor, or anything in between. That was a good close first game, and we're going to be in for a good one, I think.
There's our student body, I believe, mocking the Henley team a little bit.
We've got some showmen over there in the student section. Got people doing cartwheels. We saw a backflip.
All things that I can't do, Josh.
Yeah, I'm not that athletic, I'll tell you that much.
Although at the same time, Henley is pretty decently pumped for this one as well.
Well, I wanted to touch on it a bit in Game 1, but didn't get the chance to. Is the decibel level of our student section last week on Thursday was matched by just the Klamath Union team. And this week they seem to have taken that one to heart, maybe watched our broadcast and heard our criticisms, and now here they are being as loud as we've seen them all season. It might be a smaller crowd than usual, as when we move on to basketball, that crowd, of course, gets bigger, but still the Mustang faithful coming out to support their Lady Stangs in this one.
It's going to be interesting to see what happens with this one. But, you know, who knows where this game is honestly going to go at this point. And we just start off our second game with Hidden Valley serving. Allie Jesse sends it over to Henley's side as Henley tries to keep it in the air.
That was a good serve by Jesse, and that one by Landis goes over, so Henley again strikes first. Let's look like they did in Game 1. See if they're able to ride this one to a victory instead of losing there at the very end. Serving for the Hornets. That was Lily Poe, and that point goes to the Hornets after that one goes out of bounds.
Interesting. This is interesting. Last game started off 0-1, and then it was 1-1, and this game is already at 0-2 for the Hornets.
Yeah, so we'll see if they come out with a different plan, something the Mustangs haven't seen yet, but it's still early. Could go either way. A nice block up front. Partnership of DeVos and Hurley.
Really nailed that one as they get Hidden Valley its first point of the second game, and it looks like Toth is going to serve this one. As our student body calming down a little bit so they don't blast out our eardrums tonight.
It's been loud in here as this place echoes. It gets loud. That one dumped off by DeVos, but a nice save coming out from the Hornets side.
An attempted block on Hidden Valley, however that didn't work as they send it over right to the ground, and now we are having our first tie of the second game.
And that was Landis stumping that one off. A good job there. 2-2.
Henley keeps that one in the air and sends it over just a little bit too far as the Mustangs now take their lead for the first time in the second game.
3-2.
Looks like Toth is still serving, sending it over to Henley's side. Henley keeps it in the air, setting it up, and tries to send it over to the Mustangs side. However, it doesn't quite work out, running right into the net.
And that was Ashlyn Sherrill, a junior, trying to just pop that one over, but to no avail as that one didn't get the height that it needed. Up near the rafters again, Parker.
As Jesse keeps that one up, and Hidden Valley sends it back over.
Another block up front, this time by Horben and DeVos.
Looks like Henley is taking that early game momentum. Sorry, Mustangs are taking this early game momentum as they now lead over the Hornets 5-2.
That's 5 straight points if you're counting, Moshe, as this game started out 0-2 for the Hornets.
Indeed. Well, let's see what the Mustangs can do with their slightly. Wow, that was quite a hit as the Mustangs managed to keep that one up and on their side.
A nice setup there, and that one had some good spin off of the hand of Jessica Northcutt.
Point for the Henley Hornets.
And I believe this is the same Jessica Northcutt we saw from Henley basketball last year. The senior now, she was able to work around some of the good seniors from that basketball team, and so far she's doing a decent job of working around this Mustang team in volleyball, as that one will be another point for the Stangs.
Looks like DeVos will be serving this one, sending it into the air to Henley's side. Henley lightly taps it over. And DeVos once again sends it over to the Henley side. Henley tries to slam that over as Hidden Valley scrambles and manages to get that over with DeVos again.
Nice save in the back by Nemec, up front rather. You're our official, as that one almost goes out of bounds, but a nice save in the back by Sherrill.
And the Mustangs keep that one in the air.
Oh my goodness, and another one. That one by Poe, as this one's a long one. Not saved by the Mustangs as Landis, she lays out. Couldn't quite get that one. It'll be a point for the Hornets.
Hornets take that well-deserved point. That was a long round. So many chances that they could have messed up.
A lot of opportunities. Both teams, though, solid on that one, and that's what we've seen so far in this game.
Both playing very, very well. The Mustangs try to send it over, but get blocked as the Mustangs take another point.
I believe that was a good block up front by Henley, but instead of bouncing where they wanted it to on that block, it just went right out of bounds. So it'll be a point for the Mustangs, 7-4. Largest lead in this game is 3 for the Mustangs. That's what they're holding right now.
Polster sends it over to Henley's side. Henley taps it up in the air, gets it over on the corner shot, and Halley sits up and lightly taps it over. Hornets reach out but can't quite get it as Hidden Valley takes their largest lead of the second game, 8-4.
Mustangs really riding that momentum. It's been doing them well so far, 8-4. They look to stay consistent here, and that's what they've been doing so far in this game as that one's popped up. Again, off of Jackson going backwards. It'll be a point for the Hornets. Jackson's had a little bit of trouble so far, but overall decent play. Don't want to single anyone out, and I'm especially not doing that, but Jackson has had a couple times where it goes backwards. I believe that's the third time. But she saved a couple. Good play. But just something to keep track of is having her in the back. It's going to be a key decision for the Mustangs moving forward as that one's dumped off front by Jessica Northcutt.
And a frustrating block against Hidden Valley, I bet. I saw the faces of some of those people as they did not expect Henley to block them quite that severely. Good play on Henley's part as Henley sends it over to the Mustang side. The Mustangs keep that one in the air, sending it back over to Henley. Henley sets up and taps it over.
Nice play in the back by Polster. Hit by Landis, but good save in the back.
Nobody was quite there with that one. Didn't quite know who was going to get that. And it looks like Hurley's coming back in.
Place was Trina.
Looks like Landis will serve it over to Henley's side. Henley pops it into the air. Kind of sends it up and smashes it over.
Nice hit by Northcutt, but Jackson making the right play that time.
Keep
A
it
good
in the
block
air.
up front, and the point going to Henley. That was a good block up front by Kaylee Wood, or rather that's Jaylee Call up front along with Lily Poe. 9-7 to score. Still in favor of the Mustangs, leading now only by 2 as Polster pops that one up. Hurley dumps it off. A good save up front, that time by Nemec.
Jackson sends it back up. Main Valley will take another point as they now lead 10-7. Looks like Jackson will serve.
They're the first one to 10 points in this one. Henley was the first one to 10 points. The last one also the first one to 20, but still losing that one again. Scored 25-21 in game 1. The Mustangs lead this match 1-0. Hornets, though, they're crawling back 10-8. Not letting the Mustangs get too much breathing room and still keeping this game tight.
You know, as much as I love repeating myself, I'm not going to repeat myself too much more with this, but I think similar to the last game that we did, Josh, the Mustangs take another point. I think it will kind of come down to marathon versus sprint.
Yeah, that's a good point with these volleyball games is you got to win 3 of them, so it's really going to come down to who has the energy late game, as that was a good serve. Had a lot of backspin on it as Jesse, that one hit the top of the net, and nothing doing for the Mustangs. 11-9.
And what I'm going to say so far is with this game, I've noticed that Mustangs have managed to keep their edge on the most part against Henley as compared to the other games.
Well, you know, no matter how close it is, I mean, you can win by 1 point. A win by 1 point is just as good as a win by 10 points. So as long as this game is close and in the Mustangs' favor, that's another point for them, then that's all they're asking for is that win. It doesn't really matter what the score is.
Indeed.
It doesn't really matter how you do it. And the Mustangs doing a good job of taking that to heart. It's a close game, but the Mustangs still staying out in front for the most part. As 12-9 is the score in game 2.
I'd say both teams have good resolve, and the Mustangs take another point. This is one of the biggest leads in this very close game. As Henley now pops it in the air on the Mustang side, and it looks like the Mustangs will take that point, strengthening their lead to 14-9.
Biggest lead of this game so far for the Stangs in the form of 5 points.
Curious to see if this is just a momentum thing or if this is setting the tone for the rest of this game.
Oh my goodness, a lot of backspin coming off of that hit from Jesse, and DeVos couldn't quite get to that one in time. 14-10 now the score. Hornets, they're not falling too far behind. They're keeping it close, and that's what you want to see if you're the Hornets. Of course, you want to be winning. You don't want to be behind but close. You want to be winning, but they're keeping pace. And that's fairly good. Is that one going into the bench for the Mustangs? The point will go to the Hornets from Henley High School as the score is 14-11. And again, if you're just joining us, the Mustangs, of course, they won game 2 25-21 here in Murphy, Oregon. This is between the Mustangs and the Henley Hornets, the Skyline Conference clash. So far, it's been a good one. We hope you stay tuned with us on hvtv1.com and stay with us throughout the season.
Oh boy, as the Mustangs apparently keep that one in the air and send it over. However, all of that work will come to naught as that is a point for the Hornets.
14-12. Hornets now within 2.
Rapidly closing that lead that the Mustangs have on them.
Jackson popping that one up high. Landis doing the same. This time Jackson, though, putting it over.
So
oh my goodness, and a nice save by Jackson in the backcourt, and a great follow-up by Jesse.
The Mustangs managed to keep that one in the air, and Jackson couldn't quite do that again, but that was quite an amazing play, I'd say.
Timeout called by the Mustangs to score 14-13 on the Evergreen Federal Bank scoreboard here at Mustang Court. Again, you're watching the Bimart Game of the Week presented by Evergreen Federal Bank on hvtv1.com.
HVTV1.com and Hidden Valley High School wishes to give a special thanks to Evergreen Federal Bank and President Jeff Hyde. Thanks for the Evergreen Federal Bank Sports Complex on the beautiful campus of Hidden Valley High School. Evergreen Federal Bank. Today's event on HVTV1.com is presented in part by great donors and contributors to Hidden Valley High School, such as Don Carter Enterprises, Hidden Valley Market, and Pete Allen Surveying. HVTV1.com and these great events at Hidden Valley High School are also sponsored in part by great contributors and donors such as Stephen Stark Excavation and by Dar Benton Construction. And special thanks to Southern Oregon Audio Visual and Ciro Bignati, and by Riverside Ready Mix. Make the call to Riverside Ready Mix.
Welcome back to HVTV1.com. It's the Weimar Game of the Week presented by Evergreen Federal Bank as we get right back into the action in this 14-13 ball game. A close one. The Mustangs took game one 25-21, and they get a point as we come out of the break.
And she smashes it over to Henley's side. That one was quite an amazing play, honestly.
And the second game, of course, brought to you by Fields Ace Home Center. HVTV1 is sponsored by Fields Ace Home Center, your hometown hardware store where you drive a little and save a lot. Fields Ace Home Center is open 7 days a week in Murphy as that point goes to the Hornets. 15-14 now.
Looks like they might tie for their second time, possibly, if they manage to rack this one up to 15 on the Hornets side as they serve. Goes a little bit too far and is a point for the Mustangs.
16-14. Mustangs were in this position last game.
As Polster serves this one to Henley's side. Henley smashes it into the air a little too much, hits the light, and they send it back over. Jackson recovered that one. Henley blocks. And that is a point for the Hornets.
Keeping it close. They're keeping it real close now as that ball it rolls out of the gym. Doors always open here at Mustang Court.
Specifically for that purpose.
Specifically just so we can waste some time and the ball rolls out of the court.
It's very entertaining. You should have seen it live here. Mustangs keep that up and send it over. Henley struggles a little bit to send it back. They lightly tap it over. And
nice save by Landis up front. Hornets still keeping it in play, though. A nice job by them as that one's hit over.
Trina Toth saves that one for the Mustangs. And Landis tries to send it over, but she just hit net.
Still a good play in the back by call to keep that one in bounds. The point does end up going to the Hornets as this one is 16-16, our second tie of the game. The serve doesn't quite make it over. And Valley takes the lead right back. We haven't seen that too much. The serve's not going over. Jesse has had it once. It's been about two for each team, so definitely something you want to cut down on as this is free points. And this time Landis, we'll see if she's able to get that one over. She does. Popped up front.
Henley taps it back over and a save. However, doesn't quite make its mark.
17-17, we're tied up again.
The third time this game.
Back to serve for the Hornets. That's Northcutt. It gets over but out of bounds. The Mustangs, they'll take that point.
Nothing better than free points.
Yeah, I'll take that every day of the week.
Looks like Jackson will serve this one on the Mustang side. Hornets bop it over, but the Mustangs lightly tap it back, and they gain the point advantage.
Almost another nice save by Northcutt up front. Not making the play in the end, though. She did go sliding for that one, and nothing happening. 19-17.
Jackson serves it over. Henley tries to smash it back with Mustangs block. However, they do manage to get it over as Polster sets it up, and Hurley sends it over. Henley tries to set up for their game plan, and they tap it over. However, runs right into the net.
Northcutt attempting to get that one over just with the little small hit. Nothing happening, though. She didn't have enough power behind it. 20-17.
And I believe the Mustangs are now first to 20. And were they first to 10 earlier in this game, Josh?
Yes, they were.
A little bit of an interesting lead, as last game the Hornets were first to 10 and first to 20. However, Hidden Valley still managed to come out on top. So I'm curious, and this is a long rally.
Jackson doing a good job of saving it in the back. Northcutt doing the same. That one's popped up. Nice hit by Parker, but still a good save by Landis up front. And another one.
As Hurley tries to keep it in the air, but it's sent over, and Henley takes that point. That was quite a battle for that point, I'll tell you.
Every point matters when you're this late in the game.
Indeed.
20-18. Serving now, that's Jaylee Call.
Henley sends it over. And Hurley tries to smash it, but just a little too low as it slams into the net.
2020, or 2019 rather. Hornets within one.
That's next year, Josh.
That's 20, okay.
I think we're still at 2018, buddy. As the Hornets send it back over.
I'm speechless. Jackson, a good job pushing that one over. A good block up front by, that was Jesse and DeVos. So 21-20 or 21-19. I can't slip up with you around Moshe. Put me on blast every time.
Apparently not. I'm sorry, Josh. It's okay. I'm sure you'll get me one of these days. Ooh. As Henley takes a bit of a tumble there. Gosh, I hope those girls are okay.
Hitting the hard wood. That was Northcutt and Kalia Mick.
Mustangs take the point as they now lead 22 over the Hornets 19.
The timeout is called again. The score going into the break 22-19. It's the Bymark Game of the Week, presented by Evergreen Federal Bank on HVTV1.com.
TV1 is presented in part by Bymart. Bymart delivers value every day with weekly ads, owner's choice pricing, cyber deals, and Lucky Number Tuesday. Get ready for your season for less with Bymart. For recycling, yard debris, and solid waste disposal, Southern Oregon Sanitation is your full-service transfer station. Open 7 days a week, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m., located at 1381 Redwood Avenue in Grants Pass, thanks to Southern Oregon Sanitation.
Welcome back to the Bymark Game of the Week, presented by Evergreen Federal Bank on HVTV1.com. 22-19 coming out of the break. Mustangs are in the lead here in Game 2 after taking Game 1, 25-21.
Jesse sends it into the air. Hornets set up, slam it over a little bit. The Mustangs, wow, really slammed that one on Hurley, but the
nice
Hornets
play in the
save.
back by Mick. That one, another good save up front. That one coming from Alyssa Jackson. You haven't seen much of her, but still playing good up front for the Hornets. 22-20. Finally, the Hornets get 20 points. I've been saying they've had 20 points for about the past 3 serves. Finally, they get there. So 22-20. The serve coming over, this time from Lily Poe.
Holly Jesse sets that one up. Hornets barely managed. Well, never mind. Don't quite save that as it hits the net. And the Mustangs take another point. We are 1 point away from match point on the Mustangs side. Looks like Trina Toth will serve this one. However, it runs right into the net.
That one more of a line drive than anything else from Toth is 23-21. Someone couldn't quite make it over.
As Henley tries to kick that one into the air. That's not the right sport here. We're not playing soccer tonight.
Well, speaking of soccer, Moshe, I'm glad you bring that up. Tomorrow night against North Valley, the boys soccer game will be right here on HVTV1.com.
As there's match point as Elizabeth DeVos serves it over to Henley's side. They set up to smack it in the air, and the Mustangs can't quite keep that one up. The Hornets now take another point. They're only 3 points from winning. However, Hidden Valley is literally at the verge of winning this game. Let's see where this takes us.
This could turn on its head here if Henley keeps their momentum. A very close one indeed. Landis popping that one up. Jesse doing the same for Landis this time. That one hit it off the top of the net, but good save in the back by Northcutt.
No mistakes. And they made a mistake as the Mustangs take a point and win game 2, 25-22.
Only a 1 point difference from game 1. Is it still pretty close? 25-22 is the final in game 2. So we'll take one more break. Hopefully just one more break, as we'll see if Hidden Valley can close out the sweep of the Henley Hornets. As again, 25-22, the final in game 2. So we step aside and get set for game 3. You're watching the Weimar Game of the Week, presented by Evergreen Federal Bank on HVTV1.com.
Season of sneezes and sniffles, and your Weimar Pharmacy is here to help you keep them away. We have everything you need to stay healthy, including flu shots currently available for the whole family. Call or stop by your Weimar Pharmacy for available times and get vaccinated today. And be sure to get ready with cough drops, cold medicine, and natural remedies while you're here. Weimar, get ready for your season for less.
HVTV1.com and Hidden Valley High School wishes to give a special thanks to Evergreen Federal Bank and President Jeff Hyde. Thanks for the Evergreen Federal Bank Sports Complex on the beautiful campus of Hidden Valley High School. Evergreen Federal Bank. Today's event on HVTV1.com is presented in part by great donors and contributors to Hidden Valley High School, such as Don Carter Enterprises, Hidden Valley Market, and Pete Allen Surveying. HVTV1.com and these great events at Hidden Valley High School are also sponsored in part by great contributors and donors such as Stephen Stark Excavation and by Dar Benton Construction. And special thanks to Southern Oregon Audiovisual and Ciro Bignati, and by Riverside Ready Mix. Make the call to Riverside Ready Mix.
Welcome back to the Weimar Game of the Week, presented by Evergreen Federal Bank on HVTV1.com. If you're just joining us, you've missed some good volleyball so far, as games 1 and 2 both went in favor of Hidden Valley. Game 1 going 25-21 in favor of the Mustangs, and Game 2 going 25-22 in favor of the Mustangs. But you've missed some good plays, some back and forth volleyball action. We encourage you to stay with us for this third game and the foreseeable future as we keep with this Skyline clash between the Hornets and the Mustangs. Two very competitive teams in the Skyline, as two teams that have finished atop the Skyline the past few years. Again, Henley making the playoffs last year. They lost to Sisters in the first round 3-1. That's where their playoff run ended last year. But Hidden Valley, of course, finishing in third place at the state tournament in Forest Grove last year. So as we get set for Game 3, one of these teams is going to have a loss at the end of the day in the Skyline Conference, and so far it's looking like Henley. But we'll see if they're able to bounce back and reverse sweep the Mustangs here as we get started in Game 3. And Game 3, of course, brought to you by Oregon California Supply. Oregon California Supply is your one-stop shop for your construction, logging, rigging, hose, hydraulic lines and fittings, and fire safety equipment. Oregon California Supply in Grants Pass next to Wild River Pizza. Not quite sure what the holdup is here at Mustang Court. But Game 3 looking to get started here pretty soon. As we give you a look around the league tonight, games also going on right now. Mazama near Ashland there playing Phoenix, and North Valley there in Klamath Falls against Klamath Union. Going toward the Mustangs as they get the opening point here in Game 3. That's the way you like to start it. Don't want to start behind and you play from behind early, is one of the one of the great middle school basketball coaches I talk to on a daily, Jay Reese. He talked about how his team in basketball always start at the front, no matter what it takes. get the right foot started and never play from behind, but it's tied up early as the Hornets, they've been doing a good job playing from behind so far, but it's still definitely not the comfort zone as you always want to play ahead.
Indeed. Certainly better to be ahead than behind.
Point going to the Hornets and the Mustangs. Well, right as I say it, they're behind. The Mustangs behind 2-1. The Hornets. Still this game, though, obviously you want the reverse sweep, but not the end if the Mustangs lose. Obviously, that's not in their minds. They're not saying, well, if I lose this, then it doesn't really matter. Of course, they want the sweep, but there's a lot more pressure on the Henley side than there is on the Hidden Valley side as the Hornets now lead 3-1. That was a good line serve coming out from Parker as that one's hit over by Toff. Popped up for the Hornets, and that one hit by Northcutt. Jackson couldn't get to it, though, as now it's 4-1 in favor of the Hornets.
Hornets are doing good so far with their early game streak here.
That's 4 straight for them, 4-1. Again, game 3, game 1 went 25-21 in favor of the Mustangs, and game 2 went 25-22 in favor of the Lady Stangs. So
another block. However, that one looks like a point for the Mustangs.
And the scoreboard says 5-1. Our referee signaled that it's a point for the Mustangs. And they're going to take a second to figure it out, I think. Yeah, the referee signaled that was a point for the Stangs.
But,
so, yeah, 4-2. Popped up by Landis, trying to make a play up front. Setting up her teammate is Jesse, and that one's popped up. Good job by the Hornets, Grace Parker.
As Hurley tries to slam it over, but it gets blocked by Henley, and she taps that one over. Not quite as blocked by Henley. Henley taps it right back, of course, and Jackson sets it up. And it looks like the Mustangs will take a point for that one. Let's see if they can come from behind and win this one 3-4. I mean, they're not really coming from behind at this point because
it's a very close game, and there's still a lot of volleyball left to be played. 4-3. This one pumped up from the Hornet side. Northcutt hitting that one hard. A nice save
by Landis. Henley keeps that ball in the air and slams it over. That is a point for the Hornets.
And a tie game, 4-4.
5-3, Josh.
Well, I'm thinking that the scoreboard's wrong because of the referee. Well, the referee signaled. There's a lot of stuff going on here at Mustang Court.
Either way, it's a very close game. The Mustangs send it over.
There we go, 5-4. They got it right in here. We got it right. 5-4 in favor of the Mustangs. You had me worried there for a second. I thought I got something wrong, but 5-4 is the score. That one going toward the Stangs as well. I'm fairly certain that they have that scoreboard wrong up front. I don't want to challenge anything because I don't know for sure, but I don't know. I mean, I think I got it right, but I'm going to go ahead and change it. Supposedly we're tied 5-5, and this time that goes in favor of the Hornets. So 5 for the Mustangs and now 6 for the Hornets.
Maybe we missed something. Maybe they missed something.
I'm not sure. I'm fairly certain that they had some wrong scoring going on up there with that awkward call right up in front of us near this official's feet.
But either way, Henley hits the net, and the Mustangs get a point. And they now tie it 6-6.
6-6 in game 3. Landis in the back, popping that one up front for Polster, and now Jesse in the back, but good shot by Mick in the back. Northcutt, a spike Jesse, she stopped it, but no one was there to back her up as that'll be a point for the Hornets. 7-6 now in favor of the team from Henley High School.
The beginning of this game, it seemed like the Hornets were starting to surge, but it now looks like it's more or less even.
Well, again, they came out. They scored 4 straight.
Just a little bit too far, and it's another tie. I think this is the 3rd tie this game. 7-7.
That's 15 ties overall through all 3 games. If we add them all up, that's an incredibly close volleyball game.
It's another point for the Hornets. They now lead 8-7 over the Mustangs.
Mick back to serve for the Hornets. Good stop by Toff in the back. Landis
Smashes that over.
Another tie.
4 ties, I'm going to say.
4 ties in this game, 16 overall through all 3 so far.
So who do you think has been leading in this game so far, Josh?
Well, I mean, obviously Hidden Valley, they've got both the games so far toward the end. So I mean, technically by the numbers, you got to say Hidden Valley. I mean, but Henley's showing some good spirit even through that one. That'll be a point for them. 9-8 now in their favor. I mean, they've played very, very well. Just a couple key small things going against them, and it's unfortunate. But that's just how it goes sometimes. But still, I mean, a great game nonetheless. I mean, no matter who you're rooting for, you know.
What player do you think should be on our watch list?
I think so far, Grace Landis has been doing a great job up front. She's got a couple diving saves in the back, as does Olivia Jackson in the back there. Landis got some good points. Is again that point that put the Mustangs at 8 points. Was a good spike up front, despite the wall that Henley puts up. So Landis having a good game. Jessie doing a great job of setting up her teammates, as well as Hurley had a good game 1. We haven't seen much of her since then, but as that point goes Hidden Valley as they tie it up right away, 9-9.
I'd say Polster has been doing a good job supporting her teammates during this time, helping them out.
Yeah, Polster doing a good job. She's had a few good serves as well, too, setting up Hidden Valley very, very well. So that one is Jessie in the back. A good job by Mick up front. Northcutt with that power arm. You know who she reminds me of is a Hidden Valley graduate from last year, Hannah Hayes.
The hammer, Hayes.
Someone tall up front who can really lay down the hammer, as you so famously put it last year. But she's really smacking that ball pretty hard.
Indeed. I guess each year there's always going to be a hammer. Well, I guess Josh will help you stay tuned more with that as he travels around getting you all the best volleyball games.
All the best information.
All the best information. So Hornets take another point. Now they lead over the Mustangs 11-9, keeping this lead up. See where it takes the Hornets. They send it a little bit too far, however.
11-10 in favor of the Hornets.
Indeed.
Toth comes out, Hurley comes back in, and we mentioned we hadn't seen much from Janelle Hurley since game 1. Hopefully she makes an impact here in the 3rd and potentially final game of this match.
Nice setup by Henley as they pop it over. As they struggle, they do get it over. It's right into Landis. It looks like that'll be a point for the Mustangs. Tying it up, what I'm going to say is the 5th time this game.
That is true. 5th time, 11-11. And one thing I noticed about that play is coaches getting into it now. Head coach, new first-year head coach for Hidden Valley, Todd Lamica, really getting into this one, really believing in his team. And hopefully he thinks they're playing their brand of volleyball and they're on the right track, as he's very emotionally on the sidelines. And you see him again there. I'm not sure if you can, but he's definitely into this game, and I respect that. A coach who really loves the game and wants to see his team win more than anything else.
It's interesting to see. Last week we got a taste of what the Mustang new brand of volleyball was, and I'm thinking that it's leading them pretty well so far in this game against Henley. So they're doing very well. I noticed Hidden Valley is smashing it over quite a decent amount, and they're getting those points from that.
Well, one thing you talk about the brand, one thing we talked about last week that I kind of sat at home and thought about over the weekend was you mentioned the new brand with the new head coach and losing the seniors from last year. Last year we did a couple games, and it was really just powerful volleyball with, again, girls like Hannah Hayes up front and Sierra Westling setting her up a lot. Last year, 2 graduated seniors I mentioned. But a lot of this, you see stuff like that, trying to hit it in the back corner from as Landis sets that up. But as I was saying, though, a lot of finesse moves like that coming out from Hidden Valley. But a lot of, I don't want to say flashy, but a lot more skillful plays rather than just, spike it down and try to get that point. A lot more teamwork and finesse coming out from Hidden Valley as they do call a timeout. 14-11 the score as we go to break here in Game 3. The Mustangs and the Hornets looking to finish out this volleyball match. Again, 14-11 as we head to break. Watching the Bimart Game of the Week on hvtv1.com, of course presented by Evergreen Federal Bank.
HVTV1 Student News is sponsored in part by Fields Ace Home Center, your hometown hardware store where you drive a little and save a lot. Fields Ace Home Center is open 7 days a week in Murphy. This event also sponsored in part by Burger Kings of Southern Oregon. Since 1954, our flame-grilled, freshly prepared tradition goes into every order from Burger Kings of Southern Oregon.
Welcome back to the Bimart Game of the Week on hvtv1.com. This one, we get right back into the action. 14-11 the score in Game 3, where Hidden Valley took the first two and a nice save in the back. But Kaylee Wood couldn't do much with it. 15-11 now for the Mustangs.
As the Mustangs have completely reversed where it was earlier, where they were at 9-11, 8-11.
Yeah, they just kept playing catch-up through the whole almost first 20 rounds of the game, and now they're taking a relatively commanding lead. 16-11, they're leading by 5. That's about where you want to be, especially if you're the favorite team coming into this one. Again, Hidden Valley, they're ranked 3rd in the state coming into this one, behind Cottage Grove and behind Sweet Home.
Something I've noticed in the playing style that Josh was talking about earlier, about the new brand, the new way they're playing, it's a point to the Mustangs as Henley sends that out. Something I've noticed is last year, as he was saying, Sierra Westling would help Hannah Hayes hammer that down. She would always hammer that down right in the very front of the section, just slightly hammering it down over, not giving enough time for the other team to respond. And something I'm noticing is when they're hammering so far, I've noticed they're hammering for distance, and that's another point for the Mustangs, who now lead 18-11. What I'm noticing is they're hammering far, not hammering down.
Right, and they're trying to get it in the back, maybe the back corner, and exploit weaknesses in Henley. I'm not sure what they've seen, but from what I've seen, the backcourt for Henley has been extraordinary this game.
And so I think they're kind of realizing it's another point for Henley. Something I'm kind of realizing is I think they're realizing that they can't just hit it hard into the back. Henley's just going to pick that up and block it. I mean, I know it's worked a couple times, but...
Well, right, and frankly, I mean, you talk about that hitting it straight down, and one of the reasons they could do that with Hannah last year was
so
because
tall.
of how tall she was. That's exactly what I was going to say.
Commanding, powerful presence. I mean, of course, these girls have commanding, powerful presence, but they don't have quite the stature, the height as much. And so the strategy is shifting a little bit. I'm noticing they're like lighter touches, more, as you put it, like slightly more skillful touches, more skillful maneuvers. Mustangs take another point, 19-13.
Well, Hayes was standing 6'2" up front, and that's always where she was. That's always where you could find her on a Mustangs broadcast, and when you were here live at Mustang Court. But definitely a lot more finesse moves, I guess I should put it, is they're trying to hit it in the backcourt, and they're trying to outplay rather than just outsmash the opposing players. The timeout is called. 20-13 the score here in Game 3. The Mustangs closing in on a 3-0 sweep versus the Hornets. As we take a break as well, you're watching the Bimart Game of the Week presented by Evergreen Federal Bank on hvtv1.com.
Oregon California Supply is your one-stop shop for construction, logging, rigging, hose and hydraulic lines and fittings, and fire and safety equipment. Oregon California Supply in Grants Pass next to Wild River Pizza. Make a pit stop today at My Circle K, powered by Colvin Oil, and enjoy a Polar Pop any day, any size, just 89 cents. And get a kickback rewards card and earn points with every purchase. Points you can redeem just like cash. Find them, follow them, kick back with them. MyCircleK.com.
Welcome back to the By-Mark Game of the Week, live on HVTV1.com. Presented, of course, by Evergreen Federal Bank. We get right back into the action. 20-13 the score here in Game 3. Make that 20-14 as a point for the Henley Hornets.
Well, as I was about to say before they score to try to prove me wrong, I was going to say that Hidden Valley has kind of taken off a little bit with this third game. You know, they started kind of leading from behind, a little bit unsure, you know. Seemed like a tighter game, but now well, there's our student body going off again. But now it seems like Hidden Valley has firmly taken the lead with this one, and they are closing in on their 3-0 sweep.
Well, Hidden Valley, their lead was just 7, and that's been their biggest of the night, and now Hornets cutting it down to just 5, but 20-15, still a commanding lead for the Mustangs. It's right where they want to be. And again, Game 1, 25-21 in favor of the Mustangs. Game 2 was 25-22 in favor of the Mustangs, and now Hidden Valley looking to get out to that final commanding lead.
As Hurley saves that one and Landis sends it over, and he pops it up and tries to smash it down. Looks like it was a little bit too far, but Henley gets the point there. That was a play that kind of surprised me personally, but it looks like Henley will get the point, narrowing that lead from Hidden Valley down to 4, as Hidden Valley leads 20-16 over the Hornets. They send it over. And I saw a little ire of frustration on the Mustang side. It looks like they'll take a timeout. The Hornets have taken another point and decreased that lead down to just 3. Maybe I was wrong. But
so the timeout being called, 20-17 the score on the By-Mart scoreboard. Again, it's the By-Mart Game of the Week presented by Evergreen Federal Bank on HVTV1.com. Welcome back to HVTV1. It's the By-Mark Game of the Week presented by Evergreen Federal Bank. This broadcast, of course, brought to you by Hidden Valley Student News. Of course, I'm joined with Moshe Lilgin. He's not part of the class this year, was last year, but he's still stepping in, coming in clutch. You're, of course, joined by three students from the class tonight. We'd like to thank them for coming out and hopefully get some more reps out here as we move toward the middle part of this fall season. As 20-17 is the score. Make that 20-18 as we come back from the break.
And they use Jackson once again to give themselves another point. I've noticed they have kind of been targeting her. You know, she's certainly a good player. She's had a lot of saves for them.
Well, there you have one right there where she ends up on the ground. She just hasn't been as consistent before as she usually is. And now Henley, they're starting to inch back into this one as the Mustangs were leading by 7 just a few minutes ago. And now they're only leading by 1, the Hornets. They've got a good chance of coming back into this one if the Mustangs don't change what they're doing and get back on the right track. As Jackson pops that one up. Jesse setting it up front. Point going to the Hornets, very, very close as it's tied up. And Moshe, it's getting close, and no one knows what's going to happen. 20-20. This is our 18th tie of the series. And we're in for a good finish here in Game 3, no matter who it goes to, as Landis pops that one up. Jesse doing the same, and a dump off, and that one gets behind the head of Northcutt. Hidden Valley takes the lead, 21-20.
Which is a greatly needed thing for Hidden Valley to get back on the horse and start getting these points again. They now are only 4 points away from 3-0 sweep. Hidden Valley, let's see if they can get their game back together.
Serving as Polster for the Mustangs as that one hit very hard. Mick still back there, able to make the play. That one hit by Northcutt off the net. Hurley pops it up by the rafters. Still saved up front by Polster. A nice spike. No good, though, as a great save by Grace Landis in the back. That one hit by Northcutt. Again, another save in the back by Hidden Valley. That one's popped up and another save. That one coming from the person of Paige Nemec.
The slam by Hurley doesn't quite make it to the ground. As Henley tries to slam, and Jackson hits it up to save and sends it over back to Henley's side. It's been a long round, and here we go. It just spots, and it looks like a point for Hidden Valley.
A very long set indeed. Great plays on both sides from the likes of Grace Landis, Olivia Jackson, and on the Henley side, Paige Nimick as well as Kalia Mick. Fantastic drive that time, but of course ending in a point for the Mustangs. That one's popped up by Nemick and hit in the back for Jackson.
Another save, but it
off the rafters. Unfortunate. And that was about to be almost the play of the game from Jackson, making up roller mistakes, but instead up in the rafters, and those come into play all too often here at Mustang Court.
No one was there to save that. Excellent play, though, on Jackson's part.
Jessica Northcutt in the back with the serve, 22-20, and that'll be a point for the Mustangs. A freebie given to him by Northcutt, 23-21. The Mustangs 2 points away here from taking the match, a 3-0 sweep versus the rival Henley Hornets.
Looks like Toth's going to serve this one.
Toth's had a little bit of trouble serving tonight, but hopefully can clean all that up right now.
This is a time to shine, Hidden Valley, as it stands 2 points away from winning a 3-0 sweep tonight. Henley tries to smash it back in the air, and Toth sends it back over. And this is a very intense one, guys. On a block. Ooh, Trina
Toth,
sends that one back. I was looking a little itsy. I didn't know who was going to dive for that one. Oh, and Toth
a nice save by Toth. It seemed like a whistle was blown, and it will be a point for the Hornets. Unfortunate. Not quite sure what the ruling on the court was, but 23-22 the score regardless.
Keeping this game tight.
Very, very close. Only 1 point separating these two teams. Elite in the 4A. Popped up by Jackson, hit up by Polster, and now Landis with the point. No! Denied up front.
As it seems like both teams are taking their turns popping it over.
Nice play in the back by Northcutt. That one popped up this time by Nemick, and Northcutt hits it over again. A nice save by Jackson as she throws her arms up. Popped up by Moore. That time Nemick and set up for Northcutt as she dumps it off, and a nice save up front by Polster. And this time Landis.
This is a very intense matchup. Oh, and it goes down, and Hidden Valley is 24-22 over the Hornets, and this is the match game, guys. Let's see where this goes, and Josh is even standing.
I'm standing this time, 24-22. Back to serve is Olivia Jackson.
The pressure is on. She sends it up.
Parker sends it back. Jackson with the save. We'll see if anyone can get to it, and they can't.
Dude. Oh, this is close. This is going to be a doozy as Hidden Valley just barely maintains their lead 24-23 over the Hornets. And the Hornets will serve this one.
We're in for photo finish, Mosh. 24-23. It is the Hornets serve. Back to serve for the Hornets is Paige Nimick, the junior. A lot of pressure on her to get this one over. And this is where mistakes are magnified, and it makes it over. Jackson with a save up front. Polster dumps it over.
Oh, and it's the net, but not quite a point. And sends it back over.
And a point for the Mustangs! They get it done, 25-23. A very close finish, and I'm excited. 25-23. The Mustangs take it 3-0 over the Hornets. The rival game is concluded as the Mustangs now, well, they beat the Hornets, and that is a great finish as now they high-five under the net. 3-0. Of course, this one ending 25-23. The Mustangs 3-0 over the Hornets. We'll be right back at you. The My Circle K post-game show and HVTV1 Player of the Game interviews. We'll get with Grace Landis right after this. Stay tuned. You're watching the Bi-Mart Game of the Week presented by Evergreen Federal Bank.
TV1 is presented in part by Bi-Mart. Bi-Mart delivers value every day with weekly ads, owner's choice pricing, cyber deals, and Lucky Number Tuesday. Get ready for your season for less with Bi-Mart. For recycling, yard debris, and solid waste disposal, Southern Oregon Sanitation is your full-service transfer station. Open 7 days a week, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m., located at 1381 Redwood Avenue in Grants Pass, thanks to Southern Oregon Sanitation.
And we are back today, ladies and gents, as the Mustangs sweep 3-0 over Henley. 25-21 was the first game, 22-25 was the second game, and the last game was 23-25 as Hidden Valley had a 3-0 sweep. That was absolutely insane. We are back, the game of the week on My Circle K. Thank you so much to all our sponsors. And we are about to cut to a post-game show, player of the game show with Josh Eldridge and Grace Landis. And we will bring that back to you in just a moment.
All right, I'm here with HVTV1's player of the game with Grace Landis. Grace, how important is that win moving forward? A real high-intensity match and, of course, a rival in the skyline.
It was really, really fun. I'm so proud of my team.
That's great. And, of course, that last game, a really intense one, 25-23 the finish. You made a couple great plays. Can you explain what was going through your head on those diving plays and just the fantastic play by your team?
I was just like, we're going to win this. And I was just really pumped.
That's great to hear. And now moving forward, next week or Thursday, you got North Valley, the rivalry game. What's the attitude of the team going into the Civil War match for volleyball after you won it in football?
We're going to go kick some butt.
That's great to hear. Well, that's about it. Again, player of the game, Grace Landis. We'll throw it back to you, Mosh.
Okay, sounds good, Josh. And here we go. This has been quite an exciting game. As Hidden Valley does sweep 3-0, however, it was a very, very close game, let me tell you. The first one was 25-21, and the second was 22-25, I believe, with the Mustangs still winning. And the last one was even closer at 23-25. Let me tell you, that was quite an intense game.
Thanks, guys, for doing that.
Thank you so much to all of our sponsors tonight, such as Evergreen Federal Bank and President Jeff Hyde, Stephen Stark Excavation, Pete Allen Surveying, Don Carter Enterprises, Hidden Valley Market, Dar, Benton Construction, Southern Oregon Audio, Visual and Serial Big Naughty, JCF, Josephine County Foundation, and Riverside Ready Mix. Thanks to our other sponsors as well. And I will give it back to Josh on this one.
So again, 3-0. The Mustangs beat the Henley Hornets in a very, very close rivalry matchup. As we continue the My Circle K post-game show coming up, we'll give you a look at what's ahead for both teams. We'll give you another brief recap of what we just saw on HVTV1, the Weimar Game of the Week, presented by Evergreen Federal Bank.
It's the season of sneezes and sniffles, and your Bi-Mart Pharmacy is here to help you keep them away. We have everything you need to stay healthy, including flu shots currently available for the whole family. Call or stop by your Bi-Mart Pharmacy for available times and get vaccinated today. And be sure to get ready with cough drops, cold medicine, and natural remedies while you're here. Bi-Mart, get ready for your season for less. It's the season.
Welcome back to the My Circle K post-game show on HVTV1. This was the Weimar Game of the Week presented by Evergreen Federal Bank. The Mustangs beat the Henley Hornets 3-0. The first game going close one, 25-21. 25-22 is the score to the second one. Of course, the final game, 25-23, so closer and closer, but the Hornets, they could just not finish out this victory. Unfortunate because of how well they played. So again, HVTV1's player of the game, Grace Landis, having a great interview there. Really confident going into next week versus North Valley. As we take a look at next week, again, Hidden Valley on Thursday, they play North Valley in Merlin. The Henley Hornets, who we just saw here, they are playing Mazama at Mazama High School as they take on the Vikings. And Klamath Union, they are traveling to Phoenix High School. That is, of course, on Thursday. Tonight, though, games going around the skyline. Mazama and Phoenix High School, they're going at it in Ashland. And North Valley is at Klamath Union tonight. They're taking on the Lady Pels. That'll about do it for us for now. We hope you enjoyed watching the Hidden Valley Mustangs on HVTV1.com. You've been watching the Bi-Mart Game of the Week And the event of the week, presented by Evergreen Federal Bank. You can watch a free archived replay of this event by simply logging on to hvtv1.com and clicking on the live event tab. Join us next time for another live event with the Hidden Valley Mustangs on HVTV1 Student News. Once again, the final score was Hidden Valley 3, the Henley Hornets no games. The executive producer of HVTV1 are Brian Miller and Jay Reese. Special shout out to Christopher Pendleton for teaching the New Age Media class. For Moshe Lilgiant, I'm Josh Eldridge, and thank you for watching. Good night from Murphy, Oregon.